Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is what I did last night, and it was an awesome, awesome time. This was my second time attending this after hours event over at Magic Kingdom, and I will say I learned a lot having been there one time, and I learned even more going a second time. So my best advice, if you're planning on Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, is to have a plan. There is a lot that you can do there. So when you get in, make sure that you obviously get your wristband and also a map and a guide for your night. I will say that in the My Disney Experience app, the guide and a map of the park and where to find all of the different activities, trick-or-treat locations, characters, snacks, things like that are all loaded into the app. So you don't need the physical map to carry around with you. It's nice to have as a quick reference point, but you can also search all of that in the My Disney Experience app, making it really easy to figure out where you might want to go to find certain characters that you really want to see, or to find those special treats that you want to make sure that you're getting during your trip. Now, there's a lot to do. There's dozens and dozens of different treat stops. There's trick-or-treating. There's characters, rare characters that you don't always see out meeting and doing different meet and greets for people. So just know that you're not going to do it all in one night. It is really impossible to do every single thing that is included in the party in one evening. So just go in with a very specific list of maybe a few short things that you want to make sure you prioritize. It could be things like live entertainment. For me, some of my must-dos were including the Boo to You parade, the spectacular fireworks, the castle stage show, and also getting a couple rides in that I really like to do during the party, like Haunted Mansion and Pirates. So again, have a short list of things that are must-do, and just know that you're not going to get to all of it, and that is okay. It's why you can go back again in the future for another party to experience even more of what you didn't get to this time. Now, when you enter in, they're going to usher all of the guests to the right side of the park. This is a great way to ensure that you're getting everything that you need to kind of get the party started. And while you're doing that, especially if you're arriving between the hours of 4 and 7, they're going to be ushering out all of the daytime guests who have to leave by 6 p.m. out to the left side when you're walking, if you're facing Magic Kingdom and walking in. So they'll keep you to the right. They'll be exiting the rest of the park over to the left. And so those early hours can be a little weird in the park. They're going to be asking to see wristbands that they'll give you when you come in with the party ticket to ensure that if you are still in the park after 6 p.m., it's because you have a party ticket. So you're going to have people asking to see the wristbands, hold your hands up, that sort of thing often as you're kind of in those first couple hours. Now, what I will also say is think about your dinner plan really intentionally for these parties, because there is a lot of closing early, because some of these spots where you can normally get food like Columbia Harbor House, Pinocchio Village House, a lot of those places can become treat stops, or they're transitioning over to party exclusive snacks and foods kind of at that 7 o'clock hour when the party kicks off. So the window that you want to use to eat, if you're going to eat before the party gets going, is try to get that food plan in place between 5 and 7. Closer to the 5 to 6 hour, I think, gives you a little bit more luck and a few more options. But again, this is going to be a time when also the daytime guests can still be there, so it can be crowded. I recommend doing mobile order if you can. It'll help expedite the process of you getting food and getting the food that you want from the place of your choice. We ate at Pecos Bill's. It was great. We were able to sit down inside, kind of cool off for a little bit, and we did that probably between 5:30 and 6 just to kind of give ourselves a break and kind of let the park clear out a little bit. As soon as we were done eating, we decided to walk over to Pirates, and it was a complete walk-on at 6 o'clock, 6:15. So it was a good way to kick off the night. As I mentioned, the daytime guests were gone. It was just the party people coming in. So that hour from 6 to 7 is a really great time to get a bunch of rides in. We walked on to Pirates. We walked on to Peter Pan, which is unheard of. And then we made our way back to Ariel and walked on to Ariel, which, you can typically do on a normal day. But we were able to kind of be in that part of the park for when everything kicked off. So as we were walking back there, we saw Gaston out meeting people. There was quite a line for characters at that early 7 o'clock point. So I would say if characters are a must-do for you, if you have the ability to, wait later in the night, but keep an eye on it, because some of them won't be meeting super late. But that first 7 o'clock hour as the party starts is a very busy character time, especially for families with young kids who are probably trying to get all of that in early. So if you have the ability to wait it out a little bit, I highly recommend waiting it out so you're not waiting in long lines just to interact with the character for a few short minutes. That is especially true for Jack and Sally. Jack and Sally meet at Town Theater in the front of the park, and when we walked in at 5 o'clock, it was a 120-minute wait for Jack and Sally. As I was leaving closer to 11 o'clock, it was only a 50-minute wait. Still seems a little bit long, but again, if you maybe wait that out and do it right as soon as fireworks are happening or right after, or maybe during one of the parade times, you can get Jack and Sally for a much lower wait. And so I definitely recommend holding out for that time. Don't spend the first couple hours of your night waiting in line. it's going to really kind of set you back and really kind of prevent you from being able to explore and experience even more of the park. All right, characters aside, after the party gets started, there's a lot of different family activities in different areas. So in Tomorrowland in particular, it's definitely catering to families with younger kids. There's the Zombeats dance party that was happening in Tomorrowland, and that's always a good time. There's also a Disney Junior dance party that happens in Cosmic Rays over in that area. So if you have a lot of littles with you, Tomorrowland might be a really good place for you to start your night and get a bunch of things in. And there's also trick-or-treat stops over there and some great snacks to sample. So I would say Tomorrowland is going to be your go-to place for families with littles. If you are not traveling with kids, this was just myself and a good friend of mine doing a kind of a girls trip, I would say then go ahead and start on the other side of the park. Head over to Pirates, Haunted Mansion, Liberty Square, that area. It's going to be a little less chaotic, I would say. And then again, we really spent very little time in Fantasyland because we were trying to do a lot of the things that were kind of on the perimeter of the park. But going onto Teacups or the carousel, they have special music playing for the Halloween party, special overlay with lighting on the Teacups, for example, and also at Space Mountain. So if those are things you want to do, put those on your list. And those are not usually very long waits for most of the evening. Food. There are some party exclusive snacks and foods that you can get. You can find them on the app. You can find them in the map. But what I will say is have a plan for those as well, because it can be a bit of a wait in line to order. So if it's mobile order available, do it. If it's not, just make sure that you are a little more patient and getting some of those snacks that you want to try. We were not doing a ton of snacks because we had a little dinner before the party started, and we wanted to experience as much as we could from a live entertainment standpoint. Now, live entertainment. Number one favorite parade that Disney does for me out of all the parades that I've seen, including parades on the West Coast at Disneyland, Boo to You parade is still my number one pick. I think it is a perfect example of a combination of impressive floats, but also a ton of cast members who are performing in the parade. There are some times where right now Disney does a lot of parades that were very float heavy, and then some that are very character heavy. This is a beautiful balance of both, and the storytelling that kind of goes through the parade I think is really fun. The music is so catchy. Also having its own music score is something that makes it unique, and I think it's a really fun option. So we had dicey weather yesterday, and we decided to go ahead and prioritize the first viewing of the parade because we didn't want to chance the fact that if it rained later, maybe they would have canceled it, and we had prime spots. We sat right in Liberty Square, kind of as you're looking toward Frontierland, and we were able to see the parade coming directly toward us. We were sitting by some people that were sitting in benches, and we were able to actually sit and enjoy the entire parade without having to stand, without being like 5 people back. It was a prime spot. We got there about 30 minutes before the parade kicked off, and so I will say, if you're going to that first parade, get there a little early to get the spot that you want so you have good viewing. And also know that that Frontierland Liberty Square area is going to be a little less crowded than being on Main Street. The only difference is if you're sitting on Main Street, you typically see Max kicking off the party over there with some dancers and some friends. Max isn't a huge priority for us, so we wanted to be over in Liberty Square, and it worked out perfectly. You see the Headless Horsemen come through, they clear the streets, and then the parade begins, and we were actually in a great spot to then hop right over into Haunted Mansion. And at that point, right after that first parade started to pass through Liberty Square, we only had to wait about 10 to 12 minutes for Haunted Mansion, and that can be a long wait, especially at these parties. So that was my pro tip, is if you can watch the parade over in Frontierland or Liberty Square, then go right into line for Haunted Mansion, and it was super fun. It's a spookier ride. The queue is really dressed up, and there are some amazing characters that are in there, just kind of entertaining people as you wait. I felt like we could have waited longer so we could have had more time interacting with the ghosts that were in the graveyard. But for us, it was a really, really awesome way to kind of kick off that second part of the evening. Now, again, fireworks are really kind of unique to this parade, or to this party. What I will say is the fireworks are going to have a very special narrator or guest who kind of leads the fireworks display for this event, and that is Jack Skellington. The way that they showcase Jack in front of the castle makes it that you really want to be able to have a view of the castle stage when you're watching these fireworks in particular. Oftentimes, you can kind of go anywhere in Magic Kingdom and see fireworks and really enjoy it, but this particular show is more about the projections on the castle than it is about the actual fireworks, in my opinion. I think that it does a great job of having really exciting projections. The skeleton dance is a really fun portion of it. The fireworks are nice. This is not my favorite fireworks of all the different ones that I've been to, simply because I don't think it's a very cohesive story, and I miss having just like their own song. It's splices of songs from different spooky movies, but what I love about Boo to You is it has its own music. What I love about Happily Ever After is it has its own song. So I kind of miss like the original songs and things that can kind of bring a whole fireworks package together. So if you are going to stay for it, try to get a view of the stage. You're going to want that for Jack and for the projections. Also, there's the Villain Spooktacular, which is a stage show that happens a couple times each night, and this is a really fun way to see all of your villains on stage together. It is hosted and performed by the Sanderson sisters, and this is the only time that you're ever going to find them in the parks, and so this is another big draw for a lot of people going to the Mickey's Not So Scary, and I definitely recommend catching that if you can during your date. So as you can tell from me, the live entertainment, the performances, that's a huge priority when we're at the park. Getting some of those rides in without any kind of waits was another perk. And again, just all of the decor is really, really beautiful. The Main Street is transformed, and you can find really great spooky lighting, especially in Liberty Square. You find it over by Rapunzel's bathrooms, but everywhere you look, there's some extra components that make it a little more special. And they really did a great job expanding some more interest over in Storybook Circus. As I mentioned, Tomorrowland is a great area for families with kids, and I will say the same about Storybook Circus. So to have those two areas right next to each other for families to go and explore, there were circus performers and really cool lighting effects and different characters roaming around back there. So with families, definitely prioritize that side of the park. You're going to find a ton to do. And it's going to be really fun and engaging for everyone, no matter the age. This is a late night event, so keep in mind, especially if you go to those early events like we did in August, the sun stays out later. You're not going to have as much dark in the park time. So as you get later into the season, those October dates, and you can tell the prices go up, as you get closer to Halloween, you're going to have more nighttime during the party, and that can make it really fun and definitely gives you that spooky vibe. So that's my hot take and my overview of our Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. I'd love to hear more about your experience having gone to it, or if you're going for the first time, what are some questions you have for me? Drop them in the comments below, and make sure you like and subscribe for more. Thanks.